Are you thinking about buying a 35mm film camera? Is it really worth the effort? Whether you're getting back into film or you've never shot film before, stick around. I'm going to share my experiences and help you decide if a 35mm film camera is the right fit for you. So, first, let's tackle the big question. How much does a camera cost? Which camera should I buy? And where do I find one of these? I mean, if you're just curious about film and you just want to give it a test drive, a point-and-shoot camera is a pretty good starter. These are plentiful on eBay. Depending on the model, these can range from $20 to $100 for something decent. On the other hand, if you want to get set up and go all in, I would recommend an SLR and maybe a starter lens like a 50mm lens. Sellers on eBay, they often sell these camera bodies with a lens or two, and a 50mm lens is pretty easily found. You can pick up something like a Nikon FE, which is one I highly recommend for anyone just starting out with film. You can pick up one for around $200 with a 50mm lens. And just a note on eBay, I can't speak for everyone, but I can tell you that I've been buying and selling things on eBay all over the world for about 20 years. And honestly, I don't remember ever having many issues, maybe a small issue there here and there, but nothing major. In any case, you can find one of these cameras at estate sales or swap meets in your local area. You can also buy one of these cameras on mpb.com or keh.com. Even B&H Photo sells a few refurbs on their website. So, just something to keep in mind. One thing to note about these old camera bodies is that many of them have light seals. They're foam strips that prevent light from leaking in the film door on the back, causing accidental exposure. Also, foam is often used on the mirror box to dampen the mirror's impact as it moves up and down. When buying an older camera, the light seals will likely have to be replaced, and this is just something to keep in mind. But before you get discouraged and click away, it's a fairly simple process to replace these seals. In fact, I've made a couple of videos on how easy this is, and I'll post links in the video description. Also, there are still a few people out there that can perform what is known as a CLA, or a clean, lubricate, and adjust. Now, Jim Holman at ICT, or International Camera Technicians, he's one of those people. He does great work, and he goes that extra mile, and I know firsthand. So, he'll do a CLA, which includes the light seals, and he'll send your camera back with a clean bill of health. And I'll post a link to Jim's website in the end of the video description. It's not an affiliate link or anything, and I don't get any kickback or anything like that. It's just, well, this is where I would send my family members if they had a camera. So, just something to think about. One thing about these old cameras, though, they've been around for decades, and they'll likely be around for decades to come. I should probably mention film prices and lab fees. I mean, that's what everybody wants to know, right? However, the developer and tools necessary to develop film at home, they're still available. You can buy them on B&H, Amazon, local shops. In fact, you can still find enlargers for sale out there. They're on eBay too. But honestly, this is an expensive hobby, and the days of developing film at the local drugstore are long gone. Nevertheless, depending on where you live, you may be lucky enough to have a local lab to take your film for development. I send mine to thedarkroom.com. They've been developing film since 1976. It's pretty straightforward. You start with the order online, you pack up the film, and you mail it. They have options for purchasing prints and scans too, so depending on the size, that basically determines the price. But just as a point of reference, developing a roll of 36 exposures with 4x6 color prints and the standard scan will run you about $20. All things considered, that's really not that bad. However, when comparing 36 digital exposures on your DSLR, that's pretty expensive. But that's a comparison of apples and oranges. On that note, is digital better than film? I mean, I can play the apples and oranges game all day long. Regardless of my answer, there's always going to be someone that has an opposing opinion. As a landscape photographer, I've pondered this question for some time. And like the photos that we make, one must visualize the answer in the mind's eye. So close your eyes and perform a little thought experiment. Imagine you're heading out to capture an award-winning image. You know the one. That masterpiece we've all visualized in the mind's eye. The one that we've been planning and saving for all year. After a long journey, you're finally on location. Your composition is perfect. The light is magnificent. Imagine yourself there, surrounded by unspeakable beauty and serenaded by the calming sounds of nature. You're just about ready to release the shutter. Now open your eyes and tell me which camera's on your tripod. That's my answer. I'll be honest, the camera in my mind was a DSLR. But wait, before you rip me apart in the comments below, let me tell you why. For me, my Nikon D850 accomplishes my goals. The vision that I had, the vision in the mind's eye, involved a high dynamic range sunrise. And I was envisioning a super large print of this masterpiece hanging on my living room wall. When I opened my eyes, the camera on my tripod was my Nikon D850. Now, I might have imagined the Nikon FE had the image involved street photography, but that's the point of the thought experiment. We'll all likely have different visions in the mind's eye, but that doesn't mean that one can't enjoy the art of film photography. And yes, film still has its place in the arts, and likely always will. Remember to check out the videos I mentioned earlier. You may also like my video on 35mm film versus digital photography, and I'll post the links in the video description. If you liked this video, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, if I don't see you down the road, maybe I'll see you somewhere out on the trail.